Hallows Eve weekend. Obviously has to do with cemetery seek. So I've come to the town of Cotgrave, just on the outskirts of Nottingham. Church is behind me. We're going to go venture. It is a Sunday, which meant a lot of Sunday buses took a longer time to get here, but Sunday means churches are open. That I do know. So on this corner, just before I go in, there is, I believe, the Cotgrave cross, or what's left of it. And we're going to head on up into the church shortly. Come with me now to All Saints Parish Church of Cotgrave. Yes, it is open. So we're going to go in there in a wee while. But first I want to take you around the outside, as it does have quite a nice graveyard. And with it being autumn, it's beautiful right now. Yellow leaves everywhere. So, little view of giant tower here. And a little bit of history before we go in, because I believe that once I go in there, I won't be talking to myself much, obviously. First of all, this church had an excellent website. There was a PDF you could download which told you all of the gravestones. Somebody had typed up every single gravestone and who each one was, the dates they died, all the details. And a little bit of history from the inside, that apparently it is known to have a plague stone. The history behind it is that during the time of the plague, there was a stone that was hollowed out in the middle, and they filled it with vinegar, and whenever anybody would buy anything with money, because obviously germs all over the place, they would pass it through the stone filled with vinegar as to get rid of the germs. I don't know if it worked. Didn't vinegar get used for everything back then, or am I imagining things? Anyway, there's some beautiful stones along the wall behind me, and the actual graveyard itself is very peaceful. So let's go have a look around before we look inside. There's actually a little path that you can walk. It's near the gravestone, which I always feel bad walking upon when I know that there's someone's gravestones that I'm walking on right now. Very impressive tomb here, right in front of a doorway. Look at all the beautiful leaves. You can truly tell that autumn is here. Perfectly in timed for the bell, as always. Area by the main entrance, it's all caged off here. Let's have a look-see inside. We have Edward Smith and Reverend Henry Smith, and also Mary Smith. I like these gates, very green and old, and the tomb also. Near this stone are deposited the remains of Reverend Edward Smith. So obviously Edward Smith is very important to this church. Maybe I'll find out when I go inside. I like this couple of ragtag gravestones that are just propped up on the outside. All different ages. I like this one, it's huge for a start. 1837, and it's got a beautiful rhyme on the bottom there. Tree making it look incredible. Really, really old one. Can't even tell what it says anymore. And a Holmes family, and in memory of Kezia, which I thought was quite an awesome name for the time. There remaineth therefore a rest to them. I almost missed these little guys behind the caged off area with the fence. Two little ivy-grown fellas from Reverend Arthur Thomas, and can't really see, someone Hardy, employees of the National Telephone Company's factory. Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, it would appear I'm 5 minutes late, as the chiming of the church from midday was the end of the mass. So apparently we're not going to get inside today, but that's nothing new really, is it? Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this trip around, seeing the beautiful stones that have on offer, and this time of year everything is wet and pretty and darkly coloured, as well as the bright yellow trees. So apologies, but you should actually come and see this area. I will come back to see this plague stone. You can research it online and have a look at it. I think it's quite an extraordinary thing to still have in a church. But from me, it is Happy Halloween and goodbye, everybody! That is so dumb. That's not the end of the cemetery. See, the cemetery wasn't even near the church. It's here. Anyway, take 2. I was glad because when I looked online, there was a huge list of gravestones, and just there was probably about 10. And I was like, no, don't close. Don't make it so I can't come in. Anyway, I'm going to head straight up to the middle and get stuck in to some more cemetery seeking. This is quite a nice one because it's on a hill. It goes on quite far back. You'll have to excuse cars because it's impossible to film without back noise of cars, but at least it's not windy today. Go figure, it's now winter and it's not windy, but in the summer, every time I filmed, wind, constant wind. Anyway, very peaceful here. Some grand old trees. Let's go take a look at them. Well, I'm unaware what this means, but maybe someone could tell me. This gravestone here, tucked away in this little corner, is for Samuel Simpson. And on the cross it says Mispa. Anybody know what that means? I have not come across this. A cross. I almost just broken my ankle in a rabbit burrow about 5 times, so a word of warning, watch where you're walking when you come to a graveyard. So where we just came from was the church over here, and good job I checked before I left, because I would have left all of this behind. So coming through the old side, we have the new, and this is quite cool as well. They're using gravestones for the paving slabs again. I guess it's utilising older people, right? So we have 1800s here, so perhaps unless it was great relatives, maybe there's no one alive anymore from them, but they are very pretty. Mourning hearts and weeping eyes, spring's comfort for the soul, gathered to all she loved she lies, and gathered to her God. It's quite pretty too. It's time for depressing rhymes on a gravestone time. Sufferings sore for a time I bore, physicians were in vain, till God was pleased to give me ease and freed me from my pain. Okay, so we found the actual graveyard. So now that is a good conclusion, I think, because it felt quite premature and like nothing had actually happened in the other one, so especially for a Halloween vlog. Anyway, I hope you guys have a safe and fun Halloween. This will most likely be uploaded after Halloween, but maybe watch it next year in time for Halloween. Anyway, have fun you guys. Toodle pip, tapophiles.